Right, so today Action South Africa, which has in the past called for undocumented foreigners to be removed, has issued a statement warning against vigilante attacks on foreigners. And ASA leader Herman Mashaba joins me in studio. So thank you so much for your time. You have called on your members not to engage in vigilante attacks. Why have you made that call at this point?
Well, not only ActionSA members, all of us South Africans need to really avoid taking the law into our own hands. But one thing for sure, we've got to call for the rule of law. I think it's I really call on the South African Council of Churches, because this whole issue of the breakdown of the rule of law and the sovereignty of South Africa has been undermined for many years, until I actually raised this matter in 2016 and I was called name, insulted, that we are facing a crisis in our country.
Why have you raised this issue of concern around vigilantism today specifically? Is it because of what happened in Alexandra earlier this week?
Please, Sally, look at my history from 2016 onwards. We've really been calling on all of us South Africans to hold Home Affairs accountable, because we can't really deal with the question of undocumented foreign nationals on our own, like any other crime in our communities. We can't take the law into our own hands. That is why, I don't know if you remember, Sally, when I raised this particular matter, some commentators in the media and so forth, including the ANC, which is directly responsible for this crisis we're sitting with, reported me to the South African Human Rights Commission. Fortunate enough, I had the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa on my side. And I've been calling on us South Africans, let us hold this criminal organization called ANC that's responsible for creating this mess, undermining the sovereignty of South Africa.
Here's the concern, though. I think there's a lot of sympathy. We don't want people who don't have the right documents here. We want that to be sorted out. But unfortunately, in incredibly volatile times, as we are in at the moment, when times are tough and resources are scarce, it is human nature, I think, to see who you can blame. And unfortunately, that's when foreigners become extremely vulnerable. We've seen this in the past. We've seen it happen time and time again in South Africa. We've seen it happen across the world. How concerned are you that your message, which, as you say, is about dealing legally with undocumented foreigners, is just so close to that quick spark of vigilantism, that in a specific situation, it can get out of control? How worried are you about that?
Yeah, but I think, Sally, why as a country, as a nation, as society, why do we let the breakdown of the rule of law happens, and then we want to react? I think as South Africans, we should have acted proactively, dealt with this question of undocumented foreign nationals long before the matter got out of hand. Right now, Sally, go into the inner city of Johannesburg, go and look at human trafficking, look at modern day slavery. And these are issues that I'm saying to all these people who are saying we must not talk about this particular matter. Are they happy to really see girls as young as 8, 10 being actually human trafficked? So I'm saying is, why can't we as society deal with this matter proactive instead of trying to silence some of us? And I can tell you, and I want to show South Africans, I'm going to be the last South African to be silent on this matter, like all the other law enforcement agencies or the breakdown of the rule of law. I'm not going to be silent about this, but I'm asking South Africans, let us not take the law into our own hands.
So
what we do is let us remove government that is failing us.
Let's not take the law into our own hands. Do you support South Africans asking someone to show their papers to prove they are legally in South Africa? Do you support that?
No, it's not a work of ordinary South Africans. It's the work of the South African police with the South African with Home Affairs, which is actually obliged by the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. So how do you
feel about people like Gayton McKenzie, even Julius Malema, doing their own sort of inspections?
No, I'm on record to say it is not your responsibility. Let us push and actually get the South African police services to play that role.
But what about this issue of a citizen's arrest? Could one not perform a citizen's arrest if you have a reasonable suspicion someone's illegal?
But tell me what kind of qualification would one ordinary South African have to really play that role?
Didn't you attempt a citizen's arrest when you saw a man pushing a trolley?
Yes, because there was evidence. It wasn't. If you please bring.
So what happened in that case? Did you arrest him? Did you arrest him?
No. I did not. I called the police. I stopped him and called the police to come and arrest him.
And then what happened?
Yes, and then the police arrested him.
And what was he arrested for? Being a foreigner? Was he a foreigner?
No, that matter has got nothing. It had to do with someone actually transporting meat on an open street, meat that's actually going to be sold to vulnerable South Africans and to people who do not really have the means like you and I that can really go and buy meat in a proper butchery. So these are things that absolutely where you've got evidence. But now when it comes to the question of foreign nationals, tell me, how will I actually be able to really identify someone, whether it's in South Africa legally or not? Let us get our law enforcement agencies. This whole matter is created by this criminal organization called ANC that has allowed this because they are the biggest beneficiaries of this criminality.
So are you saying to me that when we're seeing temperatures rise, as we have in Alex this week, that is because the government's not doing its job, not because groups like yours that have been open about your concerns with undocumented foreigners, not because you're fueling the fire? Is that what you're saying to me?
Absolutely. It's got to do to a large 90% or so plus by the ANC criminal organization allowing this breakdown of the rule of law. And some commentators, whether they benefit directly or not, calling and wanting to silence people like myself. And fortunately enough, I live in a constitutional democratic South Africa with laws. And please look at the constitution of the Republic of South Africa as regards illegal immigration. Who is allowed to really be in South Africa? And
why is illegal immigration such an important issue for you, bearing in mind we've got massive levels of gender-based violence? Why is it something that seems to have really been top of mind for you?
Well, it's everything for me, breakdown of law and order. Are you aware, Sally, South Africa today is the murder capital of the world? Are you aware, Sally, we are the
Yeah, but that's not about foreigners.
No.
That's not because of foreigners.
No, you were asking me about as if it is the only issue that ActionSA is handling or I'm handling. I'm handling unemployment. 13 million South Africans are unemployed. When we've got factories in Babelegi, Harangu, which are lying empty today, closed down by COSATU and the unions.
It's a bit of a red herring?
These are the issues that, Sadie, we need to really discuss.
I agree.
And I don't think you can then say Herman Mashaba, every time he opens his mouth, it's about foreign nationals. I deal with the question of our economy. Today, I've had I don't know how many interviews regarding the state of disaster management as to why are we as South Africa still really forced to really deal with this matter. So I'm saying is let's not really paint a picture as if the only time Herman Mashaba opens his mouth is about foreign nationals, because unfortunately we'll be misleading society.
I hear you. So what is your message to foreign nationals in South Africa? And let's be fair about the undocumented issue. Some people really battle with Home Affairs. I've stood in those queues. We all know those queues to try and get any service with Home Affairs. What is your message to foreign nationals in South Africa who don't want to break the law, who may or may not have their papers, who just want to earn an honest living? Because I think the problem is, while you say one thing, it can easily be interpreted as not liking foreigners. So tell me, what is your message to foreigners living in South Africa?
Look, this country, Feseli, has been built at the back of migrants. South Africa, as we see it today, since 1994, even up to date, built at the back of migrants. And that's something that Herman Mashaba supports, and supports fully. I'll be the first South African to welcome foreign nationals coming into this country. As long as they come here legally, and when they're in our country, they must respect our laws. We must then hold all agencies, including Home Affairs, accountable, and government accountable to ensure that anyone coming into this country illegally, that person is dealt with. If they're qualified to be in this country, then process their documentation. Because don't tell me, I've been in cases where people expect us to debate how many foreign nationals, undocumented foreign nationals we have in South Africa. For me, I'm not interested. I don't want to live in a country where we have one undocumented foreign national. Every person coming into this country, like you and I and my children and my neighbors' children, at the age of 16, we must have documentation. At birth, right now, Sally, there's a child being born in a hospital or at home. They must immediately get a birth certificate.
All right.
So why should then people say foreign nationals must have an exemption? Then what we are doing is we are actually being disingenuous as people, because we are being selective in the application of the rule of law. And once you operate like that as a society, I can tell you that country is bound to fail, because for you are happy to be selective when it comes to undocumented foreign nationals. Someone else is going to be selective on another aspect. So I want to live in a society where any breakdown of the rule of law, we must all of us be concerned about it.
And making it clear this evening, Herman Mashaba, thank you very much for your time. ASA leader, he does not support citizens' arrest of people you suspect may be undocumented foreigners. He does not support door-to-door campaigns to inspect foreign shops at all. And thank you very much. Making a call, no vigilantism.
But please, Celia, I really want to make an appeal. We have to deal openly and without, we should not really be apologetic. We must deal with this matter of undocumented foreign nationals and hold our government accountable. So let us really not conflate
So direct the
issues.
focus towards government, not towards foreign nationals. Thank you very much for joining us in studio, Herman Mashaba, ASA leader.